Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's history class session. The topic of discussion for today is the French Revolution of 1789. Today, in this video, I will be providing you a basic information about the French society during the late 18th century. This video will give a clear picture about the French society before 1789, the organization of population then, and a basic introduction of the monarch. In 1774, Louis XVI became the King of France. He belonged to the Bourbon dynasty. Upon his accession, he found an empty treasury. He married to Austrian Princess Marie Antoinette. At that time, in France, the feudal system was predominating, and it existed in France during the reign of Louis XVI. So basically, the period before 1789 is known as Old Regime, and the period after that is known as the New Regime, because the system in both the period was completely different. The population of French society then was divided into three estates. The first estate composed of clergy who acted like priest and who acted like the advisor of the king. They were the people who were related to the church and worship of God. The second class or the second estate was basically dominated by kings, their families, their relatives, the nobles, the knights, and all of whom worked in the court and the king's court. Then came the third estate. This third estate composed of the rest of the people that included businessmen, merchant, court officials, lawyers, peasants, laborers, etc. Basically, the first and second estate people, they were the privileged class. That means they had certain privileges by birth and they enjoyed it. Some of which were paying no tax, exempted from paying taxes, some feudal privileges, and always dominating the third estate people. The third estate people were obliged to pay taxes. They had to render service to the first and second estate people. Although the third estate people had the population of 97% of the total population of France, still, they were not able to manage a reputation in the society. The first estate clergy people, they were having a dominating effect on the labor class, because out of the total population, 60% of the population depended on the first and second estate people to do farming on their lands by taking the lands on lease. This was all about the French society. Now, talking about the economy of the French society, the tax system was divided into two parts. Basically, there were two tax systems. One was known as the thesis, that means the tax levied by the church, which was 1/10 of the total production. And another one was tele, which was the tax to be paid directly to the state. And all this tax was being borne by the third estate people. So you can estimate how these third estate people were downtrodden. They belonged to lower strata, but still they were always under the first and second estate category of French. So this was all about today's class. In the next class, I would be dealing with the topic how Louis XVI was able to find an empty treasury and how he managed to overcome the situation and what happened later that led to the emergence of the French Revolution. Thank you.